It's the Shield. You know them, you love them, you'll never stop hearing about them. How about a little Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose? You know, because he used to be part of the Shield. Or maybe you'd rather see Rollins versus Reigns. You know, because of the Shield. How about all three of them together for one Shield triple powerbomb only? Bomb! The Shield. You tired of hearing about them yet? No? You're not? Okay, well, how about another feud between Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose? This time for the WWE World Heavyweight Shield. Belt. Roman Reigns just fist-pounded Dean Ambrose, because that's how Shield brothers do. Still want to hear about the Shield? Yes. How could you want to... There's no way you can't be tired of hearing about this. The Shield. Check out this video package showing archival footage of the Shield.
Hashtag Throwback Thursday.
Who did Seth Rollins beat for Money in the Bank? Former Shield member Shield Ambrose.
Shield.
Who did he pin to win the WWE World Heavyweight Shield? You guessed it, Shield shielded.
Shield.
The Shield. You sick of this yet? No! Yes, you are. Now you're lying to me. Okay, well, I'm sick of it. Find a new boy band. Listen to PodNasty on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, and SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/AKONUWA. It's Alfred, Big Nasty Kunawa. It's Circassian Day of Mourning. It's Day of Patriots and Military. It's Navy Day. It's St. Helena Day. It's World Day of Cultural Diversity for Dialogue and Development. It's one of the festivals of the Jovis. Not all, just one. And it's Agonalia. Remember to subscribe to PodNasty on YouTube and iTunes, and listen on Stitcher and SoundCloud. Boy, what a week in wrestling, huh? We got Payback. We got Takeover. We got a Raw where Kevin Owens debuted. Hello. We're looking ahead to Elimination Chamber. Like, what didn't happen in wrestling? Start with Payback, which was an okay show. Good, not great. I think the bar has been lowered as far as what we can expect from pay-per-views. More times than not in the era of WWE Network, they come off like glorified Raws, but with a little more action. And I thought Payback was no exception. Didn't think it was terrible. Not going to remember it in a couple of months. Nothing really advanced. It was just there. I liked the main event. Thought it was okay. I'm telling you right now, I'm getting a little tired of WWE's obsession with the Shield. It's like we get it. They were a bromance. I know. I get it. They were together. But they broke up 11 months ago. Get a new boyfriend and get over it. Have you noticed that every one of their feuds, just about every one of their feuds, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, almost all their feuds since breaking up have been tied somehow to the Shield. They did that great triple powerbomb spot on Randy Orton, which got the crowd revved up, and it was a real fun little spot. But let me tell you right now, it would have meant so much more if I hadn't heard every single week that they used to be part of the Shield. Did you know they used to share the same Shield? No, I do. You told me 600 times this hour. They split up, so treat them like they had split up. Even on Monday, the Raw after Payback, you see Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose in this video package as part of the Shield. Before the Architect, Seth Rollins turned on them. I've heard the story. I read the book. That's what bookshelves are for. And that's where the Shield is supposed to be right now. It's either Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins, or Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns, or Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns palling around. Let's get away from that for a little bit. How about, you're banning the curb stomp. Why don't you just ban references to the Shield for like a year? And then if you ever want to come back around to doing something with them, whether it's a feud or whether it's putting them all back together or a triple threat, it'll really mean something. Then you could rev that story up. But at this rate, if the Shield is going to be mentioned every single week on TV, if there's going to be some passing reference, who's going to care if they ever come back together? Who's going to care if we see the triple threat? You're not doing them any favors. Love the John Cena-Rusev match. Didn't like the finish. Didn't like Lana and Rusev splitting. It scares me to death. Because I have some faith in Rusev. I do think that he can actually continue to evolve as a singles character, but boy, is he so much better with Lana. And he's just running the risk of looking like the ridiculous, jealous boyfriend. And WWE is gradually phasing out that Lana accent. Lana, who I feel is a great performer, but WWE fans are very unforgiving if they see that she can't wrestle. Once they find out that she's just a hot girl who cuts promos, she's a great performer. But WWE fans tend to turn on divas if they don't wrestle, if they don't have that track record. That's what Eva Marie's doing right now. She's busting her tail training with Brian Kendrick so that these fans can accept her, because before they were booing her whenever she was on camera because all they saw was what they assumed to be a woman with a pretty face. They didn't know, or I don't think they cared what else she had to offer. Oh, Total Divas chick. And you know they're going to put Lana on Total Divas. How's that going to work? Is she going to completely lose her accent then? I think WWE's playing with fire if they expose Lana as this all-American chick, because then fans' intelligence will be insulted. And she's going to be more and more like the girl who didn't like them in high school. WWE needs to keep that cash cow together. It's lightning in a bottle. Don't try to create thunder. John Cena as U.S. champion is just working in terms of what it means to give temporary purpose to the mid-card challenge. I think right now, Rusev, he can move on. We all know that. He might be the next Intercontinental Champion. Who knows? But John Cena, they're going to go their separate ways. And I like the U.S. Open Challenge from an entertainment standpoint. I've made my feelings quite clear that the U.S. Open title is not this valuable title now that John Cena has it. There's just as much, if not more, value in the fact that these mid-carders are fighting John Cena than they're fighting for the title. You know, if they win that championship, it's a gift and a curse, because now it's like, okay, Cena had it for however long, defended it however many times. Now what are you going to do with it? So it could really just hurt you to win that title. It's that 1 week of a match with Cena and the visual of potentially beating Cena. That's where the value is. The value is not with that title. You know what? To be honest, I don't think Cena even needs that title. This could have been the John Cena Open, the John Cena Invitational, where he's saying, I'm going to fight everybody. And it would have been just as effective. If John Cena goes on this long winning streak and they build him up as a streak that he's just beating everybody, and then somebody comes out of nowhere and beats him, then you don't have to carry around this title or this physical proof of what you did, and you won't be compared constantly every time you defend the title. If this was just a John Cena exhibition, we'd be fine. We'd be off and running. And then whoever beats him is automatically upgraded without having a physical tool to measure him. But that's just me. Liked the New Day versus Kid and Cesaro. One of the hottest feuds in WWE. The New Day continues to be the best heels in WWE. And let me tell you right now, I know fans, because whenever you get to these groups, and that's why I don't like groups. That's why I don't subscribe to being part of a nation. I don't consider myself a fan of everything. I don't consider myself a fan of anything, actually. I'm just my own objective thinker. Because when you get into groups, there becomes conventional logic that isn't necessarily logic. It just becomes something that a herd mentality thinks. You become a hero worshiper. And it causes you to shield yourself away from criticism of these individuals. It causes you to build up these sacred cows. I'm tearing them down, baby. And that sacred cow I'm talking about is Cesaro. Listen, this isn't even a criticism really of Cesaro. I think just watching him in tag team action, that's where he belongs. Every time Cesaro's in a tag team match and he's lighting it up, and I'm reading my Twitter, it's saying like, oh, look how great Cesaro looks in tag team action. Why don't they give him a singles push? Because they tried it. It didn't work. They tried it a couple times. Look at the ROH circuit. When Cesaro was in ROH, was he a world championship contender? Was he even a world champion? No. He was a tag team champion. One of the best tag teams in the world alongside Chris Hero, Kings of Wrestling. Multiple time tag team champions. That's what he did best. Then he became a singles performer as Antonio Cesaro. Remember that? Me neither. Alongside Oksana. Nobody cared. He spoke 5 languages. Nobody cared about any of them. Then he got into tag teams. Zeb Coulter, Jack Swagger, Moving Parts, Real Americans. It was great. And fans, again, made the mistake of thinking, wow, look how entertaining he is in a tag team. Let's put him on his own. He needs to be on his own. And they put him on his own, alongside Paul Heyman, no less. But here's the thing about Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is a Phil Jackson of professional wrestling. He only works with big-time stars. He's only going to be effective when he has big-time stars to work with, and Cesaro ain't that guy. Blame everybody you want. You look at everybody who's worked with Paul Heyman and everybody who hasn't worked with Paul Heyman. Guys like Matt Morgan, Nathan Jones, John Heidenreich just weren't big stars and crumbled under the shadow of Paul Heyman. Whereas guys like Steve Austin and CM Punk and Brock Lesnar, big stars who flourished under Paul Heyman. Big Show even. Till Cesaro crumbled because he wasn't that guy. And he was on his own, and WWE gave him a chance to cut that big promo. Worst promo of his career. Remember the 4 sides promo? Nobody can touch me in these 4 ropes? I'm sorry, I mean 4 sides. Ugh. So now he's back in a tag team with Kid and Cesaro, and he's doing great. So let's keep it that way. Let's keep it that way. Well, you want him to split off again so he can falter on his own? How many times is he going to have to flop as a single star for you to realize Cesaro, in all of his talents, as strong as he is, as fun as he is to watch in the ring, he is best used as a tag team performer with moving parts around him so that he doesn't have to carry the entertainment value. Oh, but on the panel, he's so engaging and charismatic. That's on a panel when he's not a character. Some people are just more comfortable being themselves. That doesn't make them good performers. In fact, that's probably the opposite. When Cesaro has to perform and get into this larger-than-life persona, he falters. There's nothing there. But if he's sitting around in a panel, yeah, sure, he's shooting the shit. He's just chilling. Okay. A lot of people can do that. It takes a very special breed to be a truly top elite star. And professional wrestling is the only form of sports and entertainment that we do this with. Is whenever we see anybody, a lot of people are graded based on whether or not they can be world champion. There is a pecking order, especially in a one-title system. Only a few people can be world champion. It's hard. The New Day, they're the top heels in WWE. Neither of them will probably ever win a world championship. Ever win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. But they're in a good spot. Cesaro, he's in a good spot. Accept that. At the draft, we don't look at offensive linemen and say, oh, well, can he be MVP? No. We don't look at punters and kickers and say, okay, well, he can kick the football, but what are his chances of being MVP? Everybody's got a pecking order. Some quarterbacks we don't even view as potential MVP. Ryan Tannehill signed that big deal. Nobody's talking about MVP. They're saying, well, he's a good piece for the Dolphins. It's a, team-friendly deal or whatever they say. There's a pecking order of only a few people are going to be recognized as potential MVP contenders, and then from then on, it just trickles down. That's how wrestling is, and that's how people should view it. Some people just aren't big stars, and Cesaro's one of those people who's great in tag team action to the point where he deceives people into thinking, wow, if you put him on his own, he's going to be even better. No, not true. Let it go. He's in his mid-30s. Let it go. I mean, if he really wants to prosper in his mid-30s, he'd go to NXT. We'll get to that in a little bit. Love Cesaro, love him in action. Not as a top star. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. You should feel this. This is a little reality for you. Cesaro, your boy, is not a top star. He's a tag team competitor, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I love when the internet wrestling community says, well, creative what? That's the thing. That's a staple of the internet wrestling community. No accountability. Well, creative, if there's a guy that they don't want at the top, no matter how talented they are, no matter how good Roman Reigns is every pay-per-view match out, well, he's being forced down our throats. There's a guy like Cesaro who's shown after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, he's shown that he's not that big star. What are they going to say? Are they going to just throw their hands up and say, well, he just hasn't connected? No, they're going to say, well, creative, it's their fault. When all else fails, blame creative. Come on. Is it really creative's fault? What if it is creative's fault? Let me give you that. What if it is creative's fault? What's your point? The big stars, the truly big stars overcome those problems. CM Punk himself said in his documentary that was branded by WWE, they had nothing for him. They did not want him to even go to the main roster. They let him keep his name CM Punk because there were no plans to do anything with him, so they figured, oh, well, not like we have to worry about him making a bunch of money. Not like we have to worry about trademarking his name. We don't plan to make any money with this guy. Guess what? He worked hard. He spoke up. He created this cult-like following, and he became a huge star. He leveraged a contract against WWE. Fans demanded him to be in the main event because they knew that he was that guy, because he knew he was that guy. Daniel Bryan, same story. They literally created an art-imitating life storyline about how Daniel Bryan deserves to be in the main event, but the authorities keeping him down. That wasn't only a storyline, that was fact. They really did not want him in the main event of WrestleMania. Go read Jonathan Snowden and my colleague's piece. They had to change those things on the fly because fans demanded that Daniel Bryan be in the main event. They were chanting his name during main events. Wear the Cesaro chants during main event. If you truly believe he needs to be there, go ahead. Come on, where's the movement? Because you don't really believe it. I don't think Cesaro believes he's a top contender. He's been there. He's been to the mountaintop and he fell off twice in WWE. If Cesaro truly was top guy material, he'd be a top guy. I don't think there's really a such thing as people being underutilized. You are what you create in WWE. If it's not quote unquote meant to be in the eyes of the authorities, you have to take it upon yourself to convince them it is. And those who are big stars do. Hell, Stone Cold Steve Austin was meant to be a big heel until fans demanded that he be a top star and a top babyface. And voila. So people who say that Cesaro isn't at the top of WWE because creative's dropping the ball, you're dropping the ball. You have yourselves to blame just as much. Make some noise during a main event. Chant Cesaro the next time John Cena's in the ring with somebody other than Cesaro. Chant Cesaro the next time the authority's in the ring. Tell them. But you and I both know that's not going to happen. Vince McMahon went on it wasn't national television. Vince McMahon went on the WWE network, and in front of all of his subscribers, most of whom are hardcore fans, he said Cesaro does not connect. Now, if that truly was such an outrageous thing to say, and if people truly were ticked off at Vince McMahon for saying something like that, they would have taken every opportunity they could to let Vince McMahon know he was wrong. They would have chanted it at the authority. Vince McMahon, I believe, has been on TV since he said that. They would have chanted it at Vince. But they just took it lying down. They took it lying down, and when Cesaro was presented as a tag team performer, they accepted it. Simple as that. Now, I said I was going to get into 35-year-olds and aging independent stars, which brings me to NXT TakeOver. Listen, I love NXT. And the cool thing now, the hipster thing to say is NXT ABC is so much better than WWE XYZ, Oh, NXT is so much better than Raw. Oh, TakeOver was so much better than Payback. Like, that's a prevailing theory now. People think they're being avant-garde by saying that, but that's just kind of the prevailing theory. Everybody's going to think that. And it's probably more hipsterish these days to say that Raw is better than NXT. Like, NXT, the bandwagon, has been growing for a while now, and there's a reason. They deserve it. Love TakeOver. Still irked by the fact that WWE or NXT refuses to give the Divas a main event. I mean, can we just put these Divas in the main event? They deserve it. It's not a novelty. It's the best thing going in NXT. Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks, Divas match for the Women's NXT Championship. Once again, best match on the show, hands down. I mean, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn can't get a finish, can't get a proper finish. Yet another Divas match, clean finish, great contest, working hard, no bells or whistles. Nobody's injured. They're under 30, fresher product, and they're never in the main event. It's time. This is more of an outrage than WWE Divas, quote unquote, not getting a chance because, I mean, while there is some talent there, it's not to the point where they have to be featured. People aren't clamoring to see a Bellas match. And as good as Naomi is, all anybody ever says about her is, oh, she's a great athlete. Wonder what that means. And so nobody really talks about her wrestling ability, which I think is there, but I don't think enough fans appreciate it to where they're going to demand to see her in matches. NXT, by the way, on the other hand, that's more of a travesty because these women can work. This is better than anything Trish Stratus and Lita did. Yeah, they main evented one Raw that had a lot of bells and whistles and stunts and stuff. This is better. Trish Stratus and Lita were big stars, but these women are better workers. They're in there just working. Competitive wrestling matches. When the fans were chanting, this is wrestling, wasn't for Finn Balor, wasn't for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. It was for Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks. It's a great match. They need a main event, the next Takeover, no matter what. I don't care what divas, I don't care what women are in the next NXT Women's Championship match. They need to be in the main event, period, until somebody takes that crown from them. Because I'm not talking from a pound for pound standpoint. I'm not talking from an alternative standpoint. I'm talking on the same level as men of everything in NXT. And NXT is the best product going, and there's so much good in NXT right now that the women's division in NXT is the best thing in that promotion. And that is saying a lot. Now, one thing in that promotion that worries me is that WWE continues to position aging independent stars at the top of the promotion. Do they see the flaw in what they're doing? Kevin Owens, 31-year-old. Sami Zayn, whose body's now breaking down, 30 years old. Samoa Joe recently debuted, 36-year-old. Hideo Itami, who's injured now, 36 years old. Finn Balor, 33 years old, and he's managed to stay healthy, which is kind of a concern because, he's the same age as Daniel Bryan, and they both have very similar histories, so it might be any day now for him. Hopefully it's not. But it's just all these aging talents. Is this really a developmental territory anymore? Is this really where people go to prove themselves to the higher-ups so they can get a shot at the main roster? Because I really shudder to think that a 36-year-old Samoa Joe is the future of WWE. I really hope he's just in there the same reason Rhino is. Get the younger guys who are unproven, who are homegrown. Get the younger guys ready for the main roster. Give them credibility. Because I'm telling you right now, WWE, and I put this on the YouTube page, they need to get out of the used car business. I said this in a recent YouTube video. Get out of the used car business. Oh, but everybody can get hurt doing wrestling. It's wrestling. It's dangerous. Exactly. That should further discourage WWE from getting independent wrestling stars. These guys are going headfirst through the ladders. They're working physical styles or lending their bodies to injury. And then they go on this 200-300 day schedule a year. And when they get hurt, it's a surprise. No, it's not. You're a new car dealership. Act like it. Listen, it's great from a fan standpoint to see the big independent stars, your Kevin Owenses and Hideo Itami and the super indie. It's wonderful. This should not be the foundation of NXT. At the very most, it should be one dichotomy. There should be two components. The developmental guys, the homegrown guys, your Jason Jordans, your Enzo Amore, your Colin Cassidys. And then there should be the older guard of independent wrestling stars whose name brand value will give them credibility. These fans always complain about being stuffed down our throats and wrestlers don't want to retire and they're chanting, please retire at Big Show, and they don't like older guys at the top of the main event. This is the same thing. How is this any different? If you competed in ROH 10 years ago, you probably should be on your you should be on your way out if you're in the WWE promotion. Is Adam Pearce, who's just hired on as a trainer, is he going to strap up the spandex and start wrestling at the top of the NXT card? He shouldn't. It's not trolling if it's true. I'm an objective dissenting voice. My opinion is based on what I think from an objective standpoint. And objectively, I'm thinking, wow, these guys are, they're up there in age. This is a developmental territory. Shouldn't people be, the 23, 24-year-olds like Sasha Banks and Charlotte, not 30, 35, 36-year-olds? Isn't that kind of dangerous, especially if they come from a background where they're beating up their bodies? These are the questions that people who subscribe to a group mentality refuse to ask themselves. They refuse to be unbiased about anything. They join a side, and then they see all the positives and not the negatives. It's like a cult. I'm not a cult guy. I'm not a fan of anything. I'm not part of any nation. I'm not religious. I don't have a political affiliation. It's just me and my thoughts and me and my problems. Don't cult it up. Just see things for what they are. And right now, I'm very worried that the top of the NXT promotion is comprised of aging, independent stars who beat up their bodies in their prior existence. That's all I'm saying. Now, I'm not concerned that Kevin Owens is a world champion right now. I really hope he stays healthy because I'm loving what he's doing on Raw. I'm loving what he's doing in NXT. He's like the biggest bully and public enemy number one. It's great. It's wonderful. As long as his knees hold up, this is wonderful. Because let's face it, Kevin Owens is not the future of WWE. He's their very immediate present, and he's going to just give you a lot while he lasts. And it's wonderful because just look at all the enemies. Look at all the fires he's starting and putting out. He's like the anti-Seth Rollins, right? Seth Rollins' character is this pampered prince who starts all these problems and gets Kane and the authority to bail him out. He's always starting these feuds that he can't finish, right? Kevin Owens is kind of the opposite because he's starting all these feuds and he's finishing them because he's getting the credit for these guys getting injured and going off. Before the NXT TakeOver show, Hideo Itami holding his shoulder and Kevin Owens walked by. Oh, that's a shame. So it was implied that he did that. He had that mini feud with Alex Riley. Alex Riley needed leg surgery. He's gone. And they're giving Kevin Owens credit for hurting Alex Riley. Sami Zayn, his shoulder is all banged up. We're probably not going to see him for a while. They're going to give that credit to Kevin Owens because he had that match against Sami Zayn where he vowed that he was going to rid the world of Sami Zayn, hit him with the chair a bunch of time in the shoulder. We're probably not going to see him for a while. Powerbomb John Cena on Raw. He's got a budding feud against Finn Balor, who's now the number one contender. And now Samoa Joe wants a piece. Everybody wants a piece of Kevin Owens. And that helps Kevin Owens. It makes him one of the top heels in the company, if not the top heel in the company, regardless of the brand. And this is the same argument that I make with the U.S. title. If you want the U.S. title, if you want a title to mean something, it's not about the champion. It's not about just defending it. It's about the contender. It's about who wants it. It's about who wants it and who can get it. The fact that everybody seems to want a piece of Kevin Owens makes him a more valuable heel, makes him a more valuable champion. Because look at everybody who Kevin Owens is pissed off. That's what heels do. It's not just somebody in his division. It's not just one person for 3 months at a time. It's not just one feud and then you leave and then you go into another. It's like 5 or 6 simultaneous feuds. So we're like, when Hideo Itami comes back, he's going to be coming from Kevin Owens. When Alex Riley comes back, he's going to be coming from Kevin Owens. John Cena wants a piece, Finn Balor wants a piece, Samoa Joe wants a piece. That's how you build a heel. And that's how you build a title too. Is you take this title and you have like 5, 6 people who want it simultaneously and they compete for it. And some guys get it, some guys don't. It's what you do, and it's valuable. That's why I'm so into Kevin Owens right now, because everybody seems to want a piece of this. Even casual fans should look at this guy, and they're watching Raw, and they see him take out John Cena, and then, they're promoting the NXT TakeOver show, so maybe they tune over to that and see what's going on. They see him in the main event. They see him beat up Sami Zayn, and then now another guy, Samoa Joe, gets this huge reaction, wants a piece of Kevin Owens, and you're thinking, what is up with this guy? What is this guy's problem? That's what you're supposed to think. He's a top heel. He's just a jerk. He's a bully. I'm looking forward to his match against John Cena at the Elimination Chamber. I just don't think he needs to win the match. He's already won. He shows up on a top show against a top star, steps on his belt, hobnobs with Triple H, lays out the top star, gets booked on a pay-per-view, and he's out of there. Like a swift of lightning. He won. That's his victory. How many people get to powerbomb John Cena, step on his belt, and leave? I've never seen that before. Ever. Not from a guy like Kevin Owens, who's making his debut on Raw. So Kevin Owens is a made man, he's set. And if he beats John Cena's title defenses subsequently are going to be tinged. They're going to have an asterisk. They're going to be Tom Brady'd. It'll be like, well, he's defending this title, but Kevin Owens, the NXT champion, beat him and didn't even want his title. So what's that going to do for it? John Cena needs to win more than Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens has got enough going for him. And John Cena, if he's going to keep this U.S. Open Challenge going, he's just going to need to keep stringing together these wins, man. You can protect both of them. You can have a schmoz. This is a match where I wouldn't care if there was a schmoz finish. There needs to be a fight. It'll be great if there's a pinfall finish. But John Cena, I think, needs this win more than Kevin Owens. From the outset, you look at the rookie, you look at a guy in his first WWE pay-per-view match, and you're thinking that, he needs to win. No, he doesn't. He just needs to have a good showing, show that he belongs with John Cena, and if somebody, one of the millions of people he's feuding with right now, comes and costs him the match, that'll play into his character, because now he's starting to piss everybody off. And the heel's getting his comeuppance. I'd have no problem if Kevin Owens lost to John Cena. Kevin Owens is winning right now. There's a story behind why he wants to fight John Cena. It's a personal grudge. Now I have to be let it known, I have no personal grudge against anybody in the IWC. I love all of you. I want you to think for yourself. And I'm glad you keep listening to my show. It's a wonderful experience. It's a wonderful shared experience between all of us. Let's all just get along, eh? Why don't you just get me some cookies, Next time I read off all the holidays, why don't you take note of that. And next year, on May 21st, 2016, we celebrate together. I have no problem with that, huh? The YouTube page has been revamped. All kinds of great stuff on there. Got some quick takes that I've called Troll or Truth, where I, give about 2 minutes about what I think of whatever's going on. It's very well produced, if I could say so myself. Got some full episodes. Soon to have some interviews that I've done, like some Xavier Woods and JTG. We do have the full episodes of those interviews, but I'm going to cut out the interviews and put them in their own section moving forward. We've got some opening bits, some musical numbers. We're going to have Throwback Thursday and the return of WWWTF, the older episodes that will be released gradually, starting on future Throwback Thursdays on the PodNasty YouTube channel. So check that out. It's really, really fun stuff that I'm doing in addition to SoundCloud and Stitcher and all the places you can hear PodNasty. This is just another avenue, and it's a very damn good avenue, again, if I could say so myself. Oh, what do you know? We're at 30 minutes. Where did the time go? If you'll excuse me, I'm going to go cry some more about David Letterman. Thank you and good night. Shield, 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 shield. Bomb. NXT's current top stars are 30-year-old Sami Zayn, 31-year-old Kevin Owens, 33-year-old Finn Balor, 36-year-old Hideo Itami, and now 36-year-old Samoa Joe. And it's supposed to be a developmental territory. WWE needs to get out of the used car business.